Hello and welcome to English Capsules. Today we got sentimental. It's going to be a day of memories today. We are going to do a recap of our adventures during university life.
Yes, and in order to do so, today we have a special guest.
Yes. So this is Emilia, or as we call it, Emi, or Emily in my case. So, hello, Emi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Okay, so why did we decide to invite her? Because in my case, I got to know her at university. We became real close friends, and since many years ago, we are still friends. We learned many subjects, we took many subjects together, and then we became friends, so we continue. In the last years, we didn't share so much, but well, anyway.
So, what I find funny is that even though we all went to the same university, Emmy, I think is the first time I'm seeing you. I have,
Yeah,
but
sure.
Nati, we met working. We
Yes.
never saw each other at university.
Exactly. Yes.
So, it's an odd thing.
Yes, kind of weird.
But the good thing is that I'm sure we know many of the teachers that we had, many in the same subjects and many in other subjects.
You want to go into teachers right away?
No, I'm just saying that the aspects that we share. Teachers is one thing. Then we have funny stories about our university life as students.
Yeah, and you know what? I also met some university teachers in other contexts while like after university life when we became colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's still weird. Like, well, nowadays it's very difficult for me to to come across any of them
Yeah.
unless they come to Madrid. But I remember when I was still living in Rio Cuarto, and I was like, how should I call this person? Like, my first thing is like, profe. But we are not at university anymore. So it's like a super strange thing, right?
In my case, I didn't call them profe. I called them by their names. So it's the same thing for me. It's like, hello, such and such.
Good.
So
That's because you remember the names.
you
No,
say
no.
hello, and when you extend
Hi.
the O in
Yeah,
hello,
hello.
it's because you
Hi.
don't remember.
And in my mind, I think I know this person.
So maybe we can do kind of a game, particularly
Okay.
with Emmy, that is the one that has got the worst memory, I think.
Thank you. I love you.
Okay.
I would appreciate that.
So maybe we can go like saying a typical phrase of one of our teachers, or
Okay.
describing a little bit and trying to guess who we are talking about.
I know
Okay.
I will. I won't win this one, but it's okay. I will play it anyway.
Would be good for our colleagues listening to us, like the ones who have gone to the same university, because when we say these expressions, these phrases, I'm sure they are going to recall who we are talking about without saying the name. Even without saying the name, they are going to know. And what we can do is that they can leave us comments in our
Yeah.
Instagram account, Be English Capsules, because maybe they remember many more phrases in relation to these teachers or other teachers.
I was going to suggest the same thing. If you have an anecdote, if you remember more things than us, please drop a comment.
It's so
Yes.
funny. I will love it.
Okay, so I have one that I think that many will remember, because this was, I have two from this teacher that actually at that moment I didn't even know what she was talking about. But then with time, I finally understood, and she was right in many ways. I'm going to say the first, her opinion about the topic, and then I'm going to say the title of the topic, because she really loved it. So the expression that she used was Australian theory is fantastic. And that was the ending, Australian theory is fantastic. And then the topic was genre theory.
I remember her very well. I hated that subject.
I don't remember a word.
You don't.
And she doesn't remember. My goodness.
No, because I thought you were about to say another thing. Sorry.
I remember that she said that, and she was super harsh with the books that we were using, that were a complete different thing. And it's
Well, tell your fellow colleagues and change the books. What can we do? We are students.
so you don't remember Emi who she was?
No.
She was a teacher of didactics.
Didactics.
Ah,
I had a nickname for that person because she was really funny in her looks. And I had nicknames for many of the teachers. I used to call her Batman.
Why?
Because she was always late. That was for sure. We were all in the classroom and she was always late. She was always late and she was carrying many books and she was smoking at the same time. But that day was special because it was really, really cold. So we were inside with the door closed. And when she opened the door, she was wearing, all her clothes were black. One thing. Second thing, she had a coat, but she wasn't really wearing the coat. She had the coat on her shoulders, but without the sleeves. So it looked
like
the cape.
Like a cape.
These guys.
And it was black, but shiny. I don't know the name for this in English, but this charol in Spanish. That was the material of the coat. And when I was like, oh my goodness. And I started singing, ta-na-na-na-na-na. And everyone started laughing, of course, but she couldn't listen to me. But it was really funny because you can, oh my goodness, it was great. I don't know if she was a great teacher, but what she was teaching us at that moment, and I understood it many years later, actually was good.
I only remember her smoking in class, and one of my classmates was asthmatic.
Oh, I remember. I thought you were about to say is a word I remember from a teacher. Of course, I don't remember her name. Sorry, but maybe you will. Parallelism.
It's funny because I remember that we were carrying books and thinking about the presentation because the presentation was the following day.
Oh my God, your memory, you're so good.
And she said to us, oh, hi, girls. Oh, you're the one giving the presentation about parallelism. Okay.
And plagiarism.
This is us. Plagiarism. That was another teacher.
Try to avoid plagiarism.
Reveal her because I don't know who she is. The subject, I mean the subject.
Parallelism was in grammar 3, text grammar.
Oh, she never remembered I attended classes as a non-audit student. She was all the time asking, but why are you not on the list?
Okay, but with the name of the subject, all our colleagues are going to know who she is.
Okay, so one that I think, I don't recall her having a phrase right now, but she did many funny things with her mouth.
Okay.
And most people know her as Barbie's grandma. She's this blonde, wearing lipstick all the time and leather. Summer, winter, spring, autumn, always leather.
And it was like the sweater and the pants were always matching, right? Or the jeans. We were once, Emi and I were, we were once with Emi on a bus, and we said, "Oh, look at those clothes; they are wonderful." It was like a jeans, like a denim pants with a jacket, with everything the same material. It was really nice. We as a student saying, "Oh, really nice, really nice." Next day we go to university, and she was wearing this, and we said why is she wearing this? But yes, she is. But she was. What I liked about her, it was She was really nice. She was really nice. Uh, she was always
She
listening to you.
she remembered all students by name because I came
That's so
across her
difficult.
many times.
In the street.
Yes, and she's like, "Oh, hello, how are you?"
Every time
Yeah.
Good.
I run into her in the street, she would say, "Hi, Natty, how are you?" And I say, I left university many years ago. I was her student many years ago, and she still remembers my name. That's incredible. She has a great memory.
So, what was her subject?
He had many subjects. I
But
think
the
that
one that she's known for.
the one is phonetics. Is the one, yes.
So let's move into a less shady ground because we're going
Okay.
to start naming people.
Yes.
So remember that if you have more anecdotes, you can play this game. You can give us some hints and we try to guess on our Instagram account. Yes. So any traumatic experiences during university?
Oh,
Or many.
Top one.
top one. Well, do you want me to start?
Yes, go.
I remember, well, I used to live in an apartment with uh, 5 or 4 other girls of different careers, different
Courses.
courses. And I remember we were about to sit for a final exam, phonetics final exam, and the night before the exam, of course, I think it was the third time I had to sit for that exam, and the night before that time, I argued like kind of strong with one of my partners in my roommates, and oh my god, I felt so bad. I remember, of course, I cried like all night long because I was so stressed because of the exam and
Yes.
because of the argument. And well, it was kind of traumatic, as you said. And when I arrived at 8 uh, at university, Nati told me what happened to you. My face was like all swollen because of crying. No. I remember, I remember looking at her face, at Nati's face. She was like in shock. What happened to you? Why do you look so bad?
And
I
having to do the
started
exam
crying again.
anyway.
Yes, to do the exam anyway. Like nothing happened,
Of
right?
course, I sat for the exam, and I think I passed it. I finally passed it. But it was, I remember that time, that exact time, looking at Nati, looking at me like, what happened to you? Why do you look like a monster?
The roommates were awful.
Well, now that we are adults, we are like far from there. All of us were living stressful situations, and well, sometimes we tend to think about university life as a great place and a great moment in our lives where you can do whatever you want and go out and have friends. Well, yes, that's true. You can, but it also heavy responsibility for not teenagers but young adults. Uh,
You have to grow up really rapidly.
very quickly, and also you have like all your story, your family story, everything is on you. Yes, it's like you have that loaded on your back.
True. It's a sacrifice for most families. So
And
It's a
even
sec-
more when you are not from the city where university is. Three of
yes,
us
yes,
came from
yes.
another place. That meant having to rent a place to live
Yeah.
in. In many cases, you had to share that apartment.
Or live, in your case, you lived with your grandma.
Exactly, living with my grandma, knowing that my parents were paying for everything, and that
Yeah.
is the heavy burden.
yeah, and it's a lot of pressure, especially when things start going not as you expect. Because when you started saying that of phonetics, I thought, how many times did I sit for the subject? I don't remember, but there were many.
In your case,
yes, in my case, I don't remember how many, but at some point, Barbie's grandma felt sorry for me. I remember that from one call to the following, she said, no, as your theory in the previous exam was so good, I remember she had me doing the whole chart of the consonant sounds, which is a big one.
Yes.
So she said, since that theory was so good, you're not going to do the theory this week. You're only going to do the practice. I don't remember how many times, but it must have been a number of times.
Yes.
In my case, it was the same. Grammar too. It was really abstract for me, so I couldn't get it. The teacher knew a lot, but in my opinion, at that time, we were really immature to be able to grasp what she was saying was great, but it was really hard for most of us. Of course, I had classmates who could get it, and it's great. It was great, but for me, it was really, really hard. And I took the subject several times. Took the exam, not the subject. The exam several times too. And at last, it was like, whew, finally. But it was really hard. It was awful because the feeling of, I know that the teachers, in many cases, most of the cases, what they do is that they want you to learn, right? So that is the ultimate goal. But in the process, you get frustration after frustration after frustration. It's like it never ends. Maybe we learned. I don't know.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Deep down we did. Okay, so we are running out of time.
Yes.
So maybe we can do something very quick, something that we couldn't avoid, even if we wanted to. Plannings.
Oh my goodness.
How much did you enjoy or the planning that we had to do for practicum?
Zero.
Because I hated it.
When you were saying traumatic experiences, I couldn't think of like a big traumatic experience until I got to the last year of the course. It was really traumatic. It wasn't. I don't know. I think that we had to learn to do things under pressure, and many times we were asking ourselves like, how can this be applied in the classroom? How can this be put into practice in real life? Because we were learning from books, we were reading by people from another country, like, I don't know, many of them written in the United States, in the United Kingdom, where the real life in learning there, in those countries, is completely different from the ones that we have here.
The
So it's like,
contexts are different.
I remember one author saying, you need to place your class in a horseshoe pattern in order for all the students to see you. The ideal number of students should be 16. Come on, come to Argentina. We have 40 kids here.
That's why we needed the Australians. Maybe they had the answer.
I don't know, but because of the pandemic, people knew that the kids had to go like split into two groups and they had to be less in the classroom. It was really a pleasure for everyone because kids were able to learn better and teachers were able to explain many topics like in depth that maybe if they would have had the whole class, it would have been impossible. Well, plannings was the topic. I beat around the bush. So plannings was awful.
For most of us.
And that is not what we do every day. It's not that we don't plan as teachers. We do it, but in a much simpler way, just as a reminder, the things that we have to look for, what every student needs.
That's something that got me angry. Because then when you go to work in a school, the planning that is required is completely different. And you find yourself clueless. What was the point of all of this if it's not worth it? I'm not going to use it for anything.
I think that maybe we should practice because in the end, that is what we are going to be, teachers of English. We should practice. But then the planning maybe should be different. The planning should be more real, like as it is in real life, applied to what you have to do with the books when you are at school.
Girls, I think that's a wrap for today. Emi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Before leaving, you can say your Instagram account.
Okay, thank you. My Instagram account is Emilia Manrique Ingles. Yes, go and follow, like, and share all
Yes.
my reels. I have fun there. Thank you
For
so much
sure.
for letting me be here.
Okay, so before we go, remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Give love to our content and spread the word to help our channel grow.
Also, remember that you can rate our episodes and comment on each capsule. Activate the bell so that you know when our next capsule is out. And take a look at the description and our Instagram account to take more advantage of our content.
Okay, so that's all for today. Bye for now.
Bye.